your job. And your job is to be willing to die. So that's your job. And your job is to be willing to die. You're a soldier, man. You're so on the front line. You've gone too far to turn back. If you went and hid in a basement for 6 weeks, people all over the world would think the government had killed you. So you have to understand your obligation, what the universe have gave you. And so just want you to know. Man, I looked at that smile on your face just now. And the first time I ever wished I was a photographer, to take that picture and let the world see that honesty and that integrity. And know some of the things I know, how you'll drive all over the country to chase us down.
It's like I'm stalking though.
You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Chase us down. Okay?
I do feel like I have an obligation for people. I mean, it's not as bigger than me.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But no. Being business, you can't see it. It was business to Trump. He saw nothing.
All right.
Okay? But I just saw it, that smile. Okay? And so again, I just say, man, I thank you. I look at Kathy Hughes, what she's able to do with that show. I look at Carl Nelson, the Joe Madisons, you know. Some can go further than others, because some got leeway. But I just say, man, to sit here, my birthday, it's a weekend. Thank you for contributing to my birthday. You know, all I say is thank you. We move so fast. I don't know if you're married, I don't know if you're a family, I don't know if you're a wife. But when we get on here, we bosom friends. Anytime I see you, I stop whatever I'm doing. Hey, my man, how are you? Hey. Hey, man, what, you know? I owe that to you. Because together, we can beat this thug. Because it's the universal God. And so again, I just say thank you. Thank you for running me down, man. So again, but that's the obligation that you have. How old are you?
Oh, 36.
So you don't have the right to do what 36 people do. You don't have the right to go to the dance or go to the party. You don't have a right to take that trip to Europe when I might need that plane fare to fly somebody else to feed my people that love me. You feed them. Oh, it's one thing being hungry from food. There's another thing being hungry for information.
That's right.
And that's you the feeder. You got to be the farmer. You got to grow the crop. You got to till the grain. And at nighttime, when you hear something that sounds like water, you got to go see if the crop's going to be flooded. That's your job, man.
Right.
And then you got to deal with people that think you're crazy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, that's their way out. I'm embarrassed that you told me this, and I didn't know it, so I think you're crazy. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Baba Gregory. And the words of the great Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Welcome everybody to another wonderful, entertaining, agitating edition of the artivist. Man, hope y'all can hear me. Let me adjust something here. So we all be news free Dixie for the 21st century. Let's see. Trying to come in loud and clear. I hope y'all can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me, you can feel me. It's Brother Ron. Help no fear. Brother Ron is here. Just trying to thank you, Sister Alexandria. Hey, thank you for coming out, to tune in to get in where you fit in. You heard me? Peace as well. Yeah, I've been around, man. I did a couple lives in the last couple weeks. I'm glad y'all coming back. Okay, thank you. Loud and clear. That's great. Just gotta adjust my screen here. Let me adjust my screen. Da-da-da-da-da. Have mercy. I hope you don't mind. Let me adjust my screen. Da-da-da-da-da. All right. I know there's a lot going on in the world, man. There's a lot going on. Checking on your people. A lot of things going on. Spiritual warfare is real. Is real. Is real. Spiritual warfare. But this is your brother from another mother and a father and a pappy from another mammy and a pappy. Just wanted to share some thoughts, quick thoughts, with I guess under 2 hours or less. And I always say that knowledge is the currency of the universe. So there's a lot to digest this evening, a lot to talk about. But I want to talk about the Diddy thing. I wanted to do my Diddy take, but take that. I wanted to do that. But I see Brother Marcus. What's up, man? He said, brother, I'm glad to see you back. Free. Just like Maxwell, the whole system is guilty, of free Diddy. Diddy should be free. He shouldn't be in prison right now. But I'll tell y'all this: Diddy is going to get out before the holidays, at least before Christmas. He'll be out by Christmas. Whether that be a suspended sentence or house arrest, he really should not be in prison as we speak. The Mann Act should be abolished. Whatever you got to do is a fraud. The Mann Act was created to get Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight champion. If you think about it, half the country is guilty of flu outs. And a classmate, high school classmate, shout out to Isaiah Conyers. He used to direct videos for Young Dolph. Yeah, the Young Dolph, the rapper. He got a movie on Tubi called Flued Out. And it talks about the culture, about, this woman getting flued out, for extracurricular bedroom activities. So my thing is, half the country may be guilty of flu outs. And, you got OnlyFans, you got Pornhub. Everything that's immoral is not illegal. Everything legal is not moral. Think about slavery was legal in this country, and slavery is still legal in this country. The 13th Amendment, using slavery, so-called slavery, as a form of punishment and profit. So let's dig in. Yeah, Miss Maxwell, I mean, she was an asset just like Jeffrey Epstein. I don't believe that Jeffrey Epstein is deleted. I believe he's somewhere. Because I know he got a dead man switch. And one thing y'all can say about Diddy, he didn't snitch on nobody. Free Diddy. He didn't snitch on any of his friends, his Hollywood friends, Hollyweird friends, and his industry folks. He didn't snitch on nobody. And what people don't understand about the Diddy situation, the reason why Diddy is in this situation is not only because he went against the biggest drug, alcohol distribution cartel, allegedly. The biggest alcohol. Alcohol is a drug, right? He's not only in jail or got caught up in this thing because of that, but you got to think about the people who protected Diddy that are no longer here. I could think about 2, maybe 3 people who were gatekeeping boule type figures or people that really protected Diddy. One was the late great Johnny Cochran, lawyer extraordinaire. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. That Johnny Cochran, Dream Team Johnny Cochran, the one who actually was trying to get reparations for Black Wall Street, and when a lot of us wasn't aware of Tulsa Black Wall Street situation, and he was trying to work on a way to get reparations, from my understanding. And he got taken out here in questionable manner, but it was a brain cancer, a tumor. It's not a tumor. It was something that took out Johnny. Like my friend, the late great Emerson Abel would say, Jr. Nobody dies a natural death in show business. And that's in the case of Johnny Cochran. He showed enough because I believe that Michael Jackson wanted Johnny Cochran 20 years ago for his case, that last case, that Michael Jackson was so afraid to eat anything. Baba Dick Gregory was flown in or flew in and took Michael Jackson to a place where you could get hydrated in the Bay Area during that case they had against Michael Jackson. When people got overstand is that the FBI, they wanted Michael Jackson. Tom Sneddon, the prosecutor down there, they did everything. They turned Neverland Ranch upside down. Dun, 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 upside down. They turned Neverland Ranch upside down looking for evidence used against Michael in the court of law. You got to understand the FBI don't really like black people, man. You know, the FBI, they went after Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who was pardoned posthumously by Joe Biden. Biden time, he pardoned Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Obama's afraid of his own black shadow. He didn't want to pardon a man that had been dead since the 40s. Case in point, Jack Johnson, who was pardoned posthumously by President Donald Trump. 47 Orange, man. Okay. 47 Orange. He pardoned him when he was 45 Orange. So, the Mann Act was made to get Jack Johnson. The FBI was made to catch black people, I guess, like Marcus Garvey. You also realize that the rifle that unalive or deleted MLK actually could be traced back to the FBI. You know, Judge Joe Brown, buy my barbecue sauce. Judge Joe Brown was key in proving that the gun that they said got MLK wasn't the one. That the rifle wasn't the one. But the rifle that did get him came from the FBI. That's been proven. Chain of possession, all that stuff. So also the FBI was pivotal in assassinating Chairman Fred Hampton Sr. of the Black Panther Party of Illinois, along with Defense Captain Mark Clark, as they sleep in their apartment on the west side of Chicago. FBI was all in it. They had an informant that was the bodyguard for Fred Hampton, William O'Neill. So they also, had the state attorney Edward Hannaran's office in on it. So it was a state conspiracy. It was the government that got rid of Fred Hampton. It was the government that got rid of MLK Jr. It was the government that deported Marcus Mosiah Garvey. So really, you got a government, like Dr. King said, the greatest purveyor of violence on the planet is my own government. You fight wars for profit. America been in a constant wartime economy since World War II. World War II never ended. You had the Cold War, Korean War, Vietnam War, Persian Gulf War, Iraq, Afghanistan, you got Ukraine. Never ending wartime economy. Like one of the biggest booms for the Vietnam War was the helicopter industry. They made a lot of money. They made a killing in profits off of killing. So this is where we at. So you look at the Diddy thing. Like I said, Johnny Cochran was a guy who told Diddy to stay out of trouble. He warned Diddy after he got him off on that gun charge in the club. He wasn't showing love in the club. He was throwing bullets allegedly in the club from a gun, allegedly. And he beat it because Johnny Cochran told Diddy, man, you need to calm down, chill out. You also had Clarence Avant, the so-called Black Godfather, who looked out for Diddy when Biggie got capped. And Cali, cap back in Cali. You had Clarence Avant getting Diddy out that situation. Clarence Avant died recently, but he couldn't even protect his own wife, who got deleted in a home invasion in Beverly Hills. Y'all always talk about Memphis, but they do killing everywhere. Beverly Hills, South Memphis, South Side Chicago. That's like Dr. King said, America is the greatest purveyor of violence. The government is the greatest purveyor of violence on the planet. And nobody leaves Earth alive. That's right. Nobody. I'll never get out of this world alive. Well, Hank Williams what Senior used to say, who was also trained by a black musician named Rufus T. Top Payne. See, there's nothing but white people. White people always talking about, country music, our music. No, black folks invented country music. Black folks invented hockey. Everything y'all say is white is really all black everything, man. So getting back to this thing, so you had another gatekeeper, Clarence Avant, who's no longer in the flesh. So you had two powerful, influential black men looking out for Diddy. They gone. Johnny left 20 years ago. Clarence Avant left recently after his wife was taken out of here. Then also I was there to say Quincy Jones, who died the day before Diddy's birthday last fall. He had Quincy Jones, Quincy Delight Jones, and Quincy to do this stuff right here. Quincy that talked about Marlon Brando and Richard Pryor getting down on the get down. But how you gonna know unless you in the room with them? Three's Company 2. Do. So you had Quincy Jones. You got he gone. You got Clarence Avant, he gone. You got Johnny Cochran gone. You got the three wise men. I call them the three wise men. So now you got Diddy out here all alone, trying to make big boss man moves. He didn't get the memo. You try to move like Sam Cooke and Otis Redding with this liquor distribution thing, you get caught up, man. You take on the powers that think they be. You got to think about it. They don't let anybody have any power unless they got some power over you. You cannot have power unless they got power over you. They got to know where all the skeletons are in the closet, where they buried it and all that stuff, because they're not going to let you have power unless they have power over you. And that's how this thing go. So Diddy, I remember a couple of years ago, which is interesting. I don't see why people can't see the play for what it is. I remember was it an award ceremony or something that Jay-Z and Diddy was talking big stuff about the record industry exploiting black artists historically. And basically they were doing like a Me Too black musicians version. Basically they were saying time's up. I know somewhere in the internet's that clip of them talking that stuff, talking that out the side of their neck about holding the industry accountable by how they treated black artists historically. Then you had Jay-Z and to Kanye. See, Kanye get bashed not because he's crazy, but because he's a truth teller. It's like Baba Dick Gregory said, they call you crazy to make themselves feel better about being ignorant. Ye he prophesied, he already talked about Israel. Is Israel? He talked about the industry. He talked about how Beyonce got slighted, video music awards or Grammys or whatnot. And now Jay-Z got the balls to swing around. Like he questioned buildings like Snoop did in New York, big city of dreams. You got the balls now after years later, after Ye put his credibility, put everything on the line for what he believed in. And a lot of us don't understand that because a lot of us don't believe in anything. And we're afraid to step out of our comfort zones. And Ye went there and, Ye looking like a very smart dude now, regardless of what you may think, what you like about his choice in women and stuff. I'm talking about for real. Jay-Z and them, now they want to talk big stuff. Jay-Z talking about, the Grammys got to respect my woman, she deserved album of the year. She got Cowboy Carter, but it almost cost the Carters something. They came out to Jay-Z, but they went out to Sean, the two Seans. Sean Combs and Sean Carter. They went out to these guys, the so-called billionaires. They the bootleggers. They the they the bootleggers of the 2020s. 100 years ago, what are they doing in the roaring 20s, right? Think about, when you look at what's going on now, think about what was happening 100 years ago. That's how America works. What Jay-Z say, he did the soundtrack for Great Gatsby movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. Y'all should watch it. He said history don't repeat, it rhymes, right? History don't repeat, but history repeats, but also rhymes or something like that. So Jay-Z, them guys, they try to become new white folk. You understand? Like they trying to legitimize their wealth. Like Lucky Luciano used to say Lucky Luciano said that behind every great wealth, there's a great crime. That's the American way. Whether it be the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, the Kennedys. Look at the paper trail. Take a look. It's all online now. So check it out. So, they get too big for their britches, they talk this crazy talk about we taking over. Even you go back 20 something years ago when Irv Gotti, who's now deceased, one of Diddy's friends, I guess, of the industry. You had Jay Prince of Rap a Lot, you had Suge Knight of Death Row Records. They all wanted to get together to control their music distribution. Look what happened to them. They all caught cases. Suge is in prison right now, free Suge Knight. Irv is no longer with us. He's out of here. Nobody dies a natural death in show business. Jay Prince is Jay Prince. He's surviving some things. Keeping his head above water. Yeah, Maxine Waters looked out for him back in the day when the feds was watching him. Somebody's watching me. And you have what? That's interesting. You think about because Irvin them caught a case too. They beat it. They had a mob lawyer help him out with that. Him and his brother. They was in the crosshairs of the government. So anytime black people try to do things big, you get a big target on your back. And Diddy is no exception. He took on his former business partners in the liquor business, settled out of court with them, and they got their get back. But he talk a big talk about organizing blacks politically and all this stuff. And to his credit, Diddy been consistent with the vote or die campaign he did with us back in 2004. So Diddy, for the most part, he got a little consciousness about him. A little bit. It's kind of like Black Caesar type of consciousness. Check out the movie Black Caesar by Fred Williamson, the Hammer. It's interesting, but he tried to be like a revolutionary gangster or whatever. No, his father was a gangster. It was a contemporary of Nicky Barnes and Frank Lucas and all them guys, and they took him out of here. Allegedly, his father was a informant for the feds. Now they claiming Diddy is an informant for the feds. And the thing about it is, what makes it interesting is the fact that the government lost their case, but they had the case. They had a couple of cases with Diddy. They could have got him for the gun possessions, and the guns, and they could have got him on that, but they didn't pursue that. But the RICO was really weak because basically he was being a trick. He didn't make no money off this. He was spending money on Boosie and Pussy. He was spending money on Boosie and Pussy. So, he wasn't a mastermind. He didn't have no organization where he was actually pimping women out or men out. He was having freak offs, which has always been American tradition. The orgy, if you really think about it, that's been the foundation of Hollywood and of American history, having orgies and stuff like that and freak outs and eyes wide shut. Because of what people don't understand is a thing called sex magic. Look up sex magic. America is built on occult energy, the occult, the dark arts, black magic, whatever you want to call it. Hold up, wait a minute, everybody. So this is what we gotta focus in on. If you think about Elon Musk, he's in a long line of American weirdos, right? American eccentric billionaire weirdos or mega money. Think about Elon Musk as being kind of like a mixture of Howard Hughes and William Randolph Hearst and Thomas Edison and Jack Parsons. And I say Jack Parsons for last because, he got the SpaceX thing. And Jack Parsons is really the father of NASA, the space program. And what he used to do, he used to have orgies out in the desert in Cali to try to summon demons and stuff. That's what he would do. He was doing this, he was doing it he ain't lived that long. I don't think Jack Parsons made it to 40. He actually allegedly blew himself up in his laboratory in his garage at his home in Pasadena back in June of the 1950s something. But he was in his late 30s, I believe. But he was trying to summon demons and trying to bring in the Antichrist through sex magic, where they have orgies and stuff. There's people having orgies and trying to use this energy to manifest and burst to different portals and all that. Y'all go check out Jack Parsons. NASA don't really talk about him, but the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, he was one of the founders of that out in Cali. So look up Jack Parsons. I can't even make this stuff up, because American history is like, I tell people, it's like a gangster rap album is like All Eyes on Me, double disc. And also it's better than a movie. If you look up the real history of this country and the people involved in the makings of America. But with that said, Diddy was using sex magic at his freak offs. This is like, sex is a form of power. You talk about Cleopatra. She used her pussy to get all the booty. No, she was using sex to get in good with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. So this is nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun. Like President Harry Truman would say, only thing new is the history that you don't know. So look up this history. Even we talked about Nancy Reagan's godmother, who was a silent film screen star, who had the Garden of Allah. And they had orgies. You look at the movie Babylon that came out a couple years ago. So the freak outs, Diddy did not invent anything new. Look up Earl Flynn. Look up all these people. This is nothing new. The casting couch. This is nothing new. So, but with that said, the government could not prove that he was an organizer of an organized crime ring. They were stretching basically all like a gossipy type of stuff with that trial. Most of it was gossipy type of stuff that you could find on YouTube nowadays. They didn't have any strong case against Diddy. Matter of fact, you could make the case the only reason they raided his homes was to get all the footage of very powerful people in compromised positions. That was all about getting, the powers that think they be the shadow government, all their people off the hook. But like you look at Diddy and you look at Hugh Hefner. Hugh Hefner, you don't think he was working for the feds? Allegedly, he could have been working for the feds. I mean, when you're dealing with sex, you're dealing with people vulnerabilities, not just strengths, but vulnerabilities. You catching people in compromised situations. Like, y'all remember the Godfather 2 scene when they had that powerful senator from Nevada when the Corleone's moving to Vegas and Nevada, and they trying to, sway this very powerful U.S. senator. And what they did was they drugged him or whatever. He wakes up in a bed in a brothel or whatever with a dead prostitute in his bed, and he's panicking. He don't know what happened. He can't remember anything. And basically, he's in the bag. He's in the pocket of the mob. After that, you can't do no moral crusade BS because we caught you in a compromised situation. We got photos of it. We help get rid of the body. We help keep your name, brand, and all that stuff. So this is what they do. They blackmail people through sex acts. If you think about the fact that Hugh Hefner never was legally punished for anything, if you think, well, Bill Cosby, some of these women at the Playboy Mansion. I met him at the Playboy Mansion. We were playing, boy, we were playing. So, like, you think about, okay, you meet him at the Playboy Mansion, right? Okay, who runs the Playboy Mansion? Hugh Hefner. Okay, so Hugh Hefner, got all these powerful, prominent people at his mansion doing orgies and everything. So surely they got this on tape. They even had a Playboy TV show at one point. It was pretty interesting stuff. Hugh Hefner hosting, he had people like He Loved Jazz, so he had people like Ella Fitzgerald, somebody, and Sammy Candyman perform for the masses. Like Baba Dick Gregory got his break through Hugh Hefner performing at the Playboy Club in Chicago. They put him in the mainstream, making that good green, that long green, man. So with that said, this is where Diddy was at. He's in these rooms. I mean, people talking about grooming and thing with Cassie. I mean, Cassie, she was more of, I don't see her as a victim. Because the thing about it, we all can be victims in life, but then you could be a victor. But she was taking advantage of the situation. Like my thing is this: people talking about, oh, she was grown. We all grown. When we come out the womb, we are indoctrinated by the society. When we come out the womb, we are indoctrinated. We are groomed to believe that we should respect all adults, right? Especially family members, that all adults and authority figures have our best interests at heart, which we know is a lie. Soon you keep on living life, keep on living, you find out the truth that everybody should not have you should not believe that everybody have your best interest, including family members have your best interest on your back. It is what it is, but you're told that from once you got the womb, they indoctrinate you. School is not really about learning, it's about programming. School is not about learning. It's about programming. It's about helping you to navigate the system that does not exist in nature. So that means the system is designed for you to go against your natural self. The system is designed for you to not know who you are or your knowledge of self as your foundation. Because if they empower you, you cannot be controlled and you can exercise real free will. But since they no people they see the masses as a threat. That's why they want us docile, whether it be through the schooling, through the food, through other assets of environment. They want you to be controllable and malleable to everything that they do to us and don't ask questions. So they want to, not help you develop critical thinking. So with that said, with Cassie is more of an accessory than she is a victim because she, according to some of the guys, the escorts that were hired with Diddy money, she got to select who she'll get down with. Okay, she was calling the shots. She was the director on the set. You know what I'm saying? According to the male escorts that were involved. So she had a lot of say. And people talking about, well, he beat her down in the hotel. Well, that's statute of limitations. That's domestic violence. That's not RICO. That's not organized crime. That's just family dysfunction. That's relationship dysfunction. And we all dysfunctional. We all maladjusted in a way. You think about it. But that's pimp behavior. Maybe not pimp, but you think about y'all need to watch the movie Truck Turner with Isaac Hayes and the beautiful sister that passed away who played Lieutenant Uhuru or something like that on Star Trek. She was a madam and she was a bottom itch. And that's the game they play. Cassie, she was threatening people's lives like Diddy allegedly was threatening people's lives. So my thing is this, look at Truck Turner and also look at Eyes Wide Shut. That movie, Stanley Kubrick's last movie, Eyes Wide Shut with Tom Cruise. Look at those two movies and take notes and think about the Diddy trial. And then also look at let me see. Trying to find my phone. Also look at this movie called I'm trying to make sure I get the right thing. Uh Blink Twice. Check out Blink Twice on Amazon Prime. It's kind of like an Epstein Island Diddy freak off movie. And I think what's his name? Lenny Kravitz's daughter, Zoe Kravitz, she actually wrote and directed it, I believe. Trying to make sure. Yeah, Zoe Kravitz, she's the director, producer. She did the screenplay. And it stars Jason, what's his name? What is that guy name? Channing Tatum as the lead. He's the big eccentric billionaire, a bad boy. He got his own island. He invited some of his close friends and these women to the island, and they doing some interesting things. Like Zoe Kravitz is showing you what they do in their industry, how they get down, and y'all should watch it. It's worth watching. And like I was thinking about today. Also, I saw the interview that Piers Morgan on his uncensored platform did was with Superhead, lady we know as Superhead, who wrote that book that came out 20 years ago. And the games that people play, you know, she act like that her and Diddy had some type of platonic relationship. But she wrote about her experience allegedly in her book. She said she haven't read it in 20 years. She did an audio book version of her physical book. But my thing is this: she said I can't recall if Diddy or I ever got down. It's like she's leaving the door open for, I guess, a future civil lawsuit. But she described herself as being a gift to Diddy. Like she was gifted to Diddy from Irv Gotti. Murder. So she didn't mind. She said I was gifted. But my thing is, like, the way some of these women talk, they don't want to take accountability for nothing. She admitted on Piers Morgan that she wanted to be there. She wasn't coerced or forced or manipulated into being there. She wanted to be at the Diddy land. But my thing is with women, I think it's interesting that Even with Cassie, they said she signed like some 10 album deal with Diddy. Nobody was checking for Cassie like that. I remember that Me and You song. She's what they call in the industry a one hit wonder. And Cassie really didn't have, I mean, she had a look about her. She had sex appeal, but she didn't really have, she was no vocal powerhouse like a Betty Wright or a Phyllis Hyman or somebody like that. I mean, she was, pop and go, and no disrespect to her. I'm not saying that, but she was there for play. She loved the lifestyle. She was with Diddy for about 10 years. She loved the lifestyle. And my thing, I don't think Diddy was keeping her against her will. And my thing is really weird with people in relationships because I have met educated, beautiful women who told me that, Run, if a man didn't put his hands on me, that mean he didn't love me because I like to fight. I said, these are educated women. These are not like, no, you look at them, you be surprised what comes out their mouth. I had women that tell me they like it rough, like they like to get choked out. I have women told me that they use a lot of drugs and alcohol when they get down because they don't want to be responsible about what happens. They want to be able to say, I'm not responsible for what happens. I want to be able to not really remember what happens. This is what women have told me. So the nerve for y'all to say that every woman, I should believe every woman. Nah, Emmett Till is telling me from his grave, don't believe every woman. Okay? I don't care what color it is. You got to prove your case. It's not me being against women. It's about the fact that if you believe every woman, then damn. My thing is with Diddy or especially with Bill Cosby, I think the problem was with Bill. And I talked to Bill Cosby when he got out of prison. That's like a couple weeks after he got out of prison, I was talking to Bill Cosby. I think the issue was that, you promised them the world, you didn't deliver. Like if a woman said, I want to get in the industry, I want to be a famous singer, and Bill, I'll go make you a fan. I'll call Quincy Jones. I'll call Quincy. You can talk to Quincy Jones. You're going to do a recording session, and it didn't work out. So is that Bill Cosby's fault? But you should never say, I'm going to make you a star. And that's the problem. I could get you on the phone with Quincy Jones. That's all I could do. I can't promise anything. But I think that the people felt like they were cheated because I didn't become a star. I did all this stuff with him. Or like to hear women with Bill Cosby talking about, he was taking advantage of me. He paid my light bill. He paid my college tuition. He brought me a car. And, we were doing this for years now. I'm mad. I was taken advantage of. No, you were taking advantage of him in the situation. And my thing is, most dudes, a lot of guys want to become successful and rich and famous is to deal with women. That's part of the package. You want to mess around with women, but you want to find the things in life because women want to be taken care of, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's natural that men are the providers and women, but my thing is now is that women, a lot of the modern women are not nurturers at all, man. It's weird, like that's another topic altogether. But Diddy was paying these women pretty well. He paid the city girl pretty well. He paid Cassie pretty well before and after. Not only did he pay Cassie $20 or $30 million in a civil lawsuit, but he provided her with her future husband. He hired her personal trainer for her, who became her future husband, from my understanding. So y'all go just like all the good stuff he did for her and whatever he did in life that's good for a lot of people. Sister Soldier said some good things about Diddy not too long ago by, he helped her with some grassroots objectives and stuff like that with his organization. But y'all gonna say, well, all that stuff is dismissed because you saw this video, which is weird that he paid those people to get rid of, but yet CNN had for years. Y'all don't see how weird it is that they had that in their vault for years, and they decide, once Cassie did the civil lawsuit, the stuff started coming out. Oh, we're gonna release this video too, by the way. So what I'm saying is, it go back to my earlier point that they don't allow anybody to have power in this system unless they got something on you that could keep you in check and balance. You know what I'm saying? They keep you checked and balanced. That's why they play this game, man. Y'all got to stop, being so emotional invested in these people, man. They just pawns. Celebrities, Malcolm told us they were court jesters and stuff. Dick told me and told a few of y'all, I know, celebrities ain't, sugar honey iced tea, man. Celebrities ain't sugar honey iced tea. He said it's the everyday people that will change the world. You understand? Oh, it's the everyday people. And I'm getting all carried away in this. And I hope y'all enjoying this. Yeah, y'all having a good time out there. Oh, y'all having a good time out there. I just gotta remember something. I gotta pay these bills. Are y'all having a good time out there? There's a lot going on. And this is very therapeutic, be honest with y'all, to talk about these things. Very therapeutic. And I'm glad I'm able to talk. I'm blessed that some of y'all out there like to listen to me for some reason, which is interesting. Y'all like to listen to me for some reason. And I'm just giving you the best that I got. And I hope I ain't talking too fast. I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. We still in the first hour, the first power hour. We got enough to talk about Diddy that. Diddy dum, Diddy do. But now they didn't have no RICO on Diddy. They didn't have no take that on Diddy. They were trying to take that video evidence he had in his properties and whatnot. That's what they were doing, man. That's what they were doing. They're doing that, trying to take all the information. But I'm trying to put y'all up on some game, man. I'm trying to put y'all up on some game. And stop celebrating people. I don't want to see black men go to prison. Now, if they're guilty, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to celebrate it, though. It's a sad day because I know what they're doing to us. They're making black men the scapegoat for everything wrong in society. We the most disrespected group of people in America. Y'all keep on talking about Malcolm. What Malcolm said 60 years ago. So if Malcolm was alive today, he'll see it different. He'll see, like 60 years ago, when Malcolm was walking the earth, the black family was mostly intact. You had black men that were respected in communities, neighborhoods, whatever, organizations. It was different for black men back in the day. Y'all talking about how bad it was. Black men actually had, respect within the family structure. So, black people 60 years ago were some of the most married people in America. I think about my grandparents, both sets of my maternal and paternal grandparents were married with a lot of kids. Black men, black women married with a lot of kids. You know what I'm saying? Under one house. Now you think about 60 years later, how it looks for us in 2025. Was it so bad back in 1965 for us as a family unit, as a so-called community? We actually had black businesses where you actually had a chance for a black man to go work in a factory, even if he didn't, finish high school. Like in Memphis, you could go, drop out of Manassas High School, walk across the street, apply for Firestone, work at Firestone for 40 years. And your wife could stay at home mom, raise the kids, take care of the household, retire with a good pension, help send all your kids to college. You mean that wasn't a great reality? Y'all talking about, a lot of our problem is it's all about want to mess around with white people all the time. Want to live in their neighborhoods, want to eat at their restaurants, want to go to their schools. And this is not a knock against anybody. I don't believe in politicizing hate or, my thing is that people want to be with their people. And I'm looking at now how our people are so misled with a lot of things. But get it back to Diddy. I'm going to get back to Diddy. Cassie should have been facing charges because now you got a civil lawsuit that came out recently. One of the male escorts is suing both Diddy and Cassie. And Cassie to me was like, if Diddy was Batman, she was Robin. In that scenario that she was part of the, his Just Us League, you know what I'm saying? Or the Freak Off League. She was a part of the Freak Off League too. She was no innocent, It's kind of like the Patty Hearst thing. I talk about the SLA when she was robbing banks with a so-called kidnappers and all that. And people talk about Stockholm syndrome. Maybe Cassie did have, Stockholm syndrome, perhaps, or it was basically most definitely toxic bonding, most definitely that. So that's the thing. I don't believe Diddy's gonna get no 20 years in prison. Basically, those like them simp charges, pimp charge, simp charge, prostitution. Um, he should get out with time served or sentence suspended or something like that, probation, whatever. But he's not going to be in prison that long. And I think it's really a travesty that he's in prison right now, to be honest with you, because I'm not, if they can find out anything linking him to the Tupac Biggie stuff, so be it. Bring it out, please. Bring it out. Bring it out. I'm just not looking at YouTube for justice. You know what I'm saying? Because at this point, a lot of this stuff is just gossip and hearsay and innuendo, but it's very compelling. It makes for great TV. The funny thing about it is they televised the raids on his home, right? Them going into his homes and properties, but they wouldn't televise the trial. I wonder why. Because we get these weird sketches of Diddy and all this stuff, and we they say this is what happened, that what happened. I guess it's better is they could better able to control the narrative. But the thing about it is that why you waste millions of dollars for what? This was a humiliation ritual to show Diddy who was in charge, who are the bosses of this thing, who he answered to, who he submit to. That's what this was all about. This was not about put him in prison for decades. This was more about him getting humiliated, getting knocked down a notch, but also this is a chance for him to be rehabilitated. He could become a rainbow warrior now, a rainbow spokesperson, because we know all about his bedroom politics and tricks and stuff like that, and fetishes allegedly. But now we know all that, so he could become, because they recruiting, take that, baby oil and baby seals, baby. Watch out for bestiality. So, man, this is a mad, mad, mad house. We in the last days of the Roman Empire. Rome is burning. It's burning. STD, HPV, burning. This shit burning, man. It's burning. Let it burn. So we we getting into bestiality right now. We getting all types of quirky, weird stuff that was taboo, right? So this is the last days, man. The last days, the end of an era is a shift. It's not like I'm not even saying it's apocalypse. I'm just saying it's over for business as usual right now. And I think black folks are getting the memo. But the thing about it is, Diddy was exonerated on the birthday. This is what y'all got to know. On the birthday of Medgar Evers would have been 100 years old on July the 2nd. The prime minister from the Congo, Patrice Lumumba, would have been 100 years old July the 2nd. July the 2nd, Thurgood Marshall, first black Supreme Court justice, would have been 117 years old. And what I've been telling people is that 2025 is the year of the black man. This is also the centennial year of B.B. King, centennial year of Frantz Fanon, centennial year of Robert F. Williams, centennial year of Eddie Knoll. Everybody I just talked about, look them up. Research, think about it. This is the year of the black man. 400 years ended in 2019. So the righteous ancestors want just us black folk. We want black American natives to get some freedom, to get some hope, to get some comeuppance. This is what's happening right now. It's a spiritual transition going on. And it's time for black males to come up and rise up and stand up and take your rightful place at the table, at the altar, at the workplace, any place, black man. This is crazy. We're getting spiritual testosterone. And this is not about Diddy. People say, well, you comparing Diddy to Medgar Evers. And no, I'm not comparing Diddy. But I'm saying, ain't that interesting that he beat the biggest charges on the birthdays of these gentlemen? In particular, Medgar Evers, who fought hard for black folks to get a fair shake in this country. And Thurgood Marshall, who elevated himself to the highest reaches of the federal government. Before that, we had a so-called black president. We had a first black Supreme Court justice who won 29 of his 32, I believe, Supreme Court cases, either 29 out of 32 or 33. That's amazing. That man was able to win. Then now people will say, well, Thurgood Marshall was an informant for the FBI. And I would say this, the FBI talked to all the Negroes. The FBI talked to Malcolm X, Dr. King, All the Negroes. It's like Planned Parenthood taught to Malcolm X, taught to Dr. King, W.E.B. Du Bois, Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune. It don't make you no snitch or no informant, no traitor. You in that game. You in that system. See, wait, and I'm in Memphis, right? They got you thinking that black folks are running stuff in Memphis. It's really white folks. These are black-faced black puppets. They got somebody hand all the way up in there pulling them strings. You don't got no real black leadership. 60 years ago, we had black leaders. Black leaders, a lot of them hetero males. When you think about the organizations, the NACP, we had what? Roy Wilkins. And they want to make you think it was all about, what's that boy name? The Booty Warrior, the original Fleece Booty Warrior. Bayard Rustin. They want to reinvent. I was all about Bayard. Bayard Rustin did everything. Bayard was still doing his thing, man. He was like the Booty Warrior. He was like, woo hoo 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 hoo. No. You 60 years ago, you had Whitney Young at the Urban League, the National Urban League. You had A. Philip Randolph, Pullman, Porters Union, all that stuff. You had hell, even John Lewis, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. Core. What was that? Core was James Farmer. I think. I don't know. But anyway, you had black men at the head of organizations trying to do what was best for the race. You may not agree with all their points of views, perspectives, and philosophies. You also had Martin Luther King Jr., Southern Christian Leaders Conference. You had Elijah Muhammad, Nation of Islam, Malcolm in there somewhere. You had, I know I'm leaving somebody out. But Adam Clayton Powell Jr., the Right Reverend U.S. Representative Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Y'all crazy about Jasmine Crockett. And it's weird. Adam Clayton Powell Jr. got the job done. And we don't remember a lot of the great ones. But what I'm saying is what I say. It's something about a black man who knows his worth and knows how to show up and show out for his people that is dangerous for some reason for this country. Really, when black men show up and show out, this country does way better. If you think about the American Revolutionary War, when black men showed up and showed out, you had James Amistad Lafayette, who won the war with the intel he got as a double spy. He got the intel to help win the war. You got, Peter Salem Poor, Crispus Attucks, the first person to die for the American Revolutionary War. 5,000 black men fought with George Washington's Continental Army. Almost 200,000 black men fought with Abraham Lincoln's Union Army. When black men get involved, things happen. It's like 60 years ago. When black men get involved on the front lines and behind the scenes, things happen. So with that said, getting back to Diddy, Diddy's kind of like a Trojan horse for the things to come. He's going to be rehabilitating his image. He's going to be a powerful spokesperson for the Rainbow Coalition. Not the one from the 60s, but the one we got now, the Rainbow Coalition. So best believe that. But also, even with the Tyler Perry situation, that's not about that dude. He probably mad that Tyler Perry did not make him a bigger star, did not make him a superstar. Tyler Perry could have used that dude to write some of his movies and stuff. He could probably have better movies if old boy who's accusing him of all these things wrote his movies and stuff for him and TV shows. Because it's like he got an interesting way to tell stories. And also the fact dude came back to his home twice, which is interesting. If he made you uncomfortable the first time, what make you think he'll be all right with you the second time? And my thing is this, like anything that used to be normal, considered flirting, is now, it's SA. People. I'm confused about, can you really flirt with women, or vice versa? Is everybody offended by anything somebody say or do? I understand respecting people's boundaries and comfort zones, but even with the Diddy thing, this is not about what people think it's about. This society does not care about women. Women just got their rights not too long ago. Y'all was considered property. If you're a woman, you was considered property for most of this existence of this country. You was property. You was something to be owned, not, listened to. Your value is being able to be kept and under the control of the white man. I ain't gonna even say the black man, because like y'all always talking about black patriarchy, like black men are are the white men of, of black people. I think some black women are the white men of black people. Black women are some of the most educated group of people in the country. And yet, I look at the men a lot of times, black men, we were very disrespected. I don't care what nobody said, because you can't talk for me. I'm a black man. I'm an educated black man. I got degrees. You know, um, I have done things accomplished, but people look down on that. And it's weird to me. And my thing is this, like, I don't look at no other group of race that are taught to disrespect their men. And now us men, we got to do better. But at the same time, who is the first teacher of the child? The women. So some of these women are training these boys not to be men, and they are okay of accepting certain. No, oh, okay, he was always like that. But is it nature or is it nurture? You see what I'm saying? Is it nature that he's like that, or is it because he was nurtured or groomed to be a certain way? Because it's like Charlize Theron, right? The actress from South Africa. She adopted these two black boys. She raised them as girls because, like, from my understanding, what I read, she's saying that she's afraid for them to show up as men in this type of world. She's afraid of them to show up as black men, to identify as black men. So in order to protect them, she's raising them as girls. I mean, where's Child Protective Services? We gotta understand this ain't about children and women. This society does not care about women and children. Like, I'm in Memphis where they had Georgia Tan stealing babies from women. It's back in the middle of the 20th century. Look up Georgia Tan. We had Boss Crump running things in Memphis. Old Boss Crump, but Georgia Tan was stealing babies from women and selling them on the black market. Joan Crawford got, her kid from Georgia Tan's operation. Ric Flair was a victim of Georgia. Woohoo! Nature Boy. He was a victim of Georgia Tan. Look all this stuff up. So Child Protective Services is interesting to me. I remember hearing about a woman, I think a politician down in Georgia. She was talking about Child Protective Services being a form of sex trafficking going on. And next thing you know, she's unalive in a double, like, murder suicide thing. Her and her husband, they got unalive. But she was so outspoken about what Child Services was doing down in Georgia. And the next thing you know, she's unalive with her husband. And then they smear your name and all that stuff. So getting back to, like, it's bigger than Diddy. This stuff wasn't about what people thought it was about. And I'm glad that people are waking up to the fact that it was not about what people thought it was about. And I wish that, man, the fact that Suge Knight said what he said about Suge Knight, Diddy getting off, says a lot. And free Suge Knight, free Tory Lanez. It's time for our men to tell our stories too. It's funny to me because they talking about men being predators, but look at all these school teachers, these female school teachers taking advantage of these young boys. Nobody ever talks about that. It's all about, these dirty old men taking advantage of these girls. Now this boys being taken advantage of. But like I said, it's something about. But that's all the top. But even Diddy got some mommy issues. Like the fact that his mama, they talk about his mama, she was wild back in the time. They used to be swingers, her and her husband allegedly. And Diddy learned from his mom how to be the man that he became. Yeah, he got that from his mama. So y'all could blame his daddy. Daddy got killed when he was like 3 years old or something like that. So yeah, his mama got women are the first teachers of the child. So like some of these dudes showing up the way, because I deal with guys. I'm a supervisor, and I deal with some young guys. Some of the young guys, they be very emotional. I'm not even saying they gay. It's not about them being gay. It's not they not gay. It's just that they think and process things like a woman. Like, if you talk to them a certain way, I got a voice, I got an interesting voice. It could sound authoritative at times. And they'll say, "Well, man, why you disrespecting me?" I said, "I'm not disrespecting you. I'm just telling you, hey, man, take out the garbage. Clean this, wash, wipe down this window or this mirror." It's not about, they're not used to having a man in their life. So they're not used to the tone of voice of a man. But they're used to the tone of voice of a woman telling them what to do and how to think and how to move. So that's the thing. So men are needed at this time. Especially brothers. I'm talking to the brothers. We are needed. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. You be in the life of your children because you never know, man, how life gonna turn out. 'Cause a lot of cats, man, they be rolling stones until they stop rolling. Then they start realizing, damn, man, I really messed up that opportunity to connect with my kids, man, because I didn't know I was gonna live to be 70 years old. I'm 70. I'm by myself in this home, and I'm sick, ill health. I'm not good with my kids. I've never met my grandkids. Brothers, think about that. And a lot of good brothers out here are good fathers. You know, there's a thing about black fathers. Like, there's a lot of great black fathers that don't get the credit they deserve. But also, what I don't like is when women blame all the men. It's just a certain percentage of the men getting y'all pregnant. I don't have no kids. A lot of brothers I know, the good brothers, they making good money. They got good morals. They were raised right. They don't have no kids. You know, they often meet women with kids and stuff like that. But the thing about it is there's only a certain percentage of men that are impregnating all these women. But all the men get the blame. My thing is, men, even if you don't have children, be a resource to help a child. Don't turn your back on kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's interesting because, like, if you date a person with kids and the kids get mad at you, you're not my dad. And I gotta say, you know what? You're right, man. I'm not your dad. You so correct. And the interesting thing about children, no matter how messed up some of their parents may be, even when they're grown, they'll still want a relationship with their parent. Your daddy could be the worst person in the world, but if your daddy came back in your life, you probably be all happy and all this under the bridge and all that. Meet your grandchild. Like, oh, you could be a stepfather and do a lot for a child that's not yours. And the dad come back in the picture and, the kid go crazy for the dad. And that's okay. But my thing is, where I'm at is if you give something, don't always expect a thank you. Do it because you want to do it, because your spirit moves you to do it, but don't expect nobody, because it's a weird world we live in. It's upside down. Upside down. So I guess that's the Diddy thing, right? Is that enough on the Diddy? Let me look at the comment section. Thank y'all for tuning out to tune in to get in when you fit in. Let's see, I'm trying to look at y'all. Thank y'all for tuning out to tune in again when you. I'm just trying to see. You talking about Diddy try to take his $1 billion for? Yeah, they trying to take his money because they don't want us to have generational wealth, resources for his family. See, Kanye was telling the truth about, when he trying to when Kanye was trying to break into the fashion industry, how it's like, really is a clique, is a family thing, is a bloodline thing, and they want us out of the line to receive anything. So I'm glad that Diddy really fought, to try to clear his name, or at least try to protect his resources for his children, if not for him. So now they don't want to, whatever they give you, they could take away. It's like they made Kanye a billionaire, then they took it away. But best believe that Kanye got some money flow. Kanye got probably offshore accounts and stuff like, any wealthy person would do. I don't think any wealthy person reports all their money to the IRS. Or so, you got to have, all this stuff and resources. So yeah, they don't want us to have anything as Black American natives. We got to fight for everything. I remember I talked to a sister who was a beautiful, wonderful, legendary civil rights contributor and stuff like that. She wanted to start her newspaper, and the bank that she did business with for decades would not give her a loan. Now, mind you, the banks would take your money and invest in it and make money off your money and give you a little percentage of that, but yet they won't give you a loan. If you've been a loyal customer for 30 years, you kept money in the bank, you did good business with them, but yet they won't invest in their clients. That's weird to me. It's kind of like if you go to a church that's a mega church, but you were there when the church was a storefront church. And then, like, you fall on some hard times and they won't even pay your light bill. Now, you've been there since the beginning, but yet you don't have resources like your pastor does. And like, if you fall on hard times, they won't help you out. Or if you don't tithe for a certain number of times, if you stop tithing because of financial hardship and you happen to die while you having financial hardship, I heard stories of people now even being able to have funerals at their church, at their home church, because of financial things. And ain't nowhere in the Bible that say you got to give God some Benjamins to be getting to heaven. I don't see that anywhere in the Bible. It says that. So we looking at it like, yeah, they try to take money. They don't want black people to be great. It's like every time we build something, they take it from us. And what we got to understand as a people, is that we got to play by their game, playing their game. We got to protect our interests, like Malcolm said, by any means necessary. Didn't the United States just celebrate on Trump's birthday the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army? So this country had an army to protect their interests. So where is the Black American Natives Army? Where was our army for Black Wall Street, for Elaine Massacre, for Elaine, Arkansas, for Rosewood, for Wilmington? Where was our army at? Where was our militia? We need to start being afraid to advocate for ourselves. Stop hiding. Stop thinking that we have friends and allies we don't have. We have imaginary friends, like Dr. John Henry Clark said. If the person staring back at you from the mirror ain't your friend, you got no friends. We all we got. So it is what it is. But you think about Cosby, Dr. Cosby and Dr. Camille, they spend all this money with so-called black institutions and whatnot, supported black initiatives, and they had no backup and protection when Cosby needed it the most. Everybody just fled, it seems. I'm trying to see. Like my shirt, huh? Yeah, it's Barry Wayne. Bang, 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 Barry Wayne. Yeah, and everybody that say they thank God, you don't know what God they serve. Because a lot of these people, I said the occult. I mean, I'm in Memphis, man. There's a lot of witches and warlocks and wizards in Memphis. I just learned that the hard way, but God is good. God got me. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about the Lauryn Hill thing, right? Let's talk about Lauryn Hill, the Essence Fest. I want to talk a little bit about that. Thank you, Sister Betty Jones, for your donation. Our great dad, or AI great dad, thank you for the donation. We love you madly. I am gonna keep on producing and pushing. But let's talk about Essence Fest. I've been reading, looking at social media. People about Essence Fest fell way off, and missed the mark. That it went away from its original mission, from my understanding. That it's more about everybody but Black American natives now, and how it was very unprofessional in terms of like scheduling, the technical difficulties. Y'all been doing this for almost 30 years. You shouldn't be having no technical difficulties at this point. It should be like clockwork, natural, hand to glove, or glove to hand. So that's interesting hell, because I think about how people would try to lowbrow us. On my organization, the nonprofit, the We All Be Group Incorporated, we produce like things in the community, like awards, events like the Jimmy Lunsford Legacy Awards. We don't have the budget of BET or Essence Fest. But what we do is we honor our people in our community through our heart and passion. It's a passion project. But even with our limited resources, we are able to pull off a show within 3 hours. Even with the hiccups and stuff like that come with doing live programming, we are able to do a show. Been doing that since 2017. Put on shows. And people tell me, well, it's not like BET. I said, we don't got a BET budget. It don't supposed to be the NAACP or Image Awards. We don't have Wells Fargo money or Target money like Essence Fest. And we are doing this from the heart, man. Because like you look at it, like a lot of great things in this country was started with Black people. Like you look at Memphis, a lot of our so-called renowned music festivals and barbecue festivals was started by Black people in the community or in the neighborhoods. It wasn't started by corporations. And then the corporations, they hijack it, and then they bury the origins of the tradition, like they do country music or hockey. They had it in plain sight. So with that said, I'm not knocking the Essence Fest. I heard a lot of great things over the years, but they have fallen off. They have taken their base for granted, like the Democratic Party has taken black folks for granted in the last several years. So they got to do something about that. But I know it was a thing about Lauryn Hill. People talking about Lauryn Hill performed real late, like her set ended at 4 a.m. in the morning. And I said, I know, Lauryn has a reputation for being real late in her performances when she headlines. But this time it wasn't her fault, and people still dumping on Lauryn. It's the fault of the organizers not being professional, not having their technical equipment up to par. It was their fault. It wasn't Lauryn's fault. But she took the blame this time. And I'm gonna say, she has a reputation that she earned for being late. Because I know I saw her some years back at Memphis in the Minglewood Hall. I'm gonna see if I can find when she was down here for the Minglewood Hall. Cause I want to say either 2013, 2014, 2015. It was between 2013 and 2015 that Lauryn Hill came. I'm gonna look it up though. Mm, trying to see. Yeah, it was 2014. She came down the summer 2014. Her opening act did a great job, and then she had a DJ performing. But it took like a couple more hours for her to come out on the stage, which was crazy to me. And we was waiting for. We was standing room only. It was crowded. It was packed in the Minglewood Hall. And and then she come on. She performed like music that we was not aware of. Like she wasn't performing her hits and nothing like that. She performed different arrangements, like remixes of her hits. And like, okay, we wasn't no, we wasn't expecting none of that. But at least I said I saw Lauryn Hill, and I said, well, I ain't gonna pay no money to see her because I can't imagine how people were messed up. They probably paid for babysitters and stuff like that. And they, I think the concert was over a little bit after midnight or something like that. It was a crazy time. It really should have been over earlier than that. But Lauryn is a talented artist. I like the miseducation of Lauryn Hill. The miseducation of Lauryn Hill still holds up almost 27 years later. Well, it came out in 1998. No skips on there. No skips. Classic. I even like the MTV Unplugged album. That was great to me as well too, with her acoustic, the guitar and all that. I mean, she's a very talented, gifted person, and she's been through some persecution, like all great people go through, right? She even took on the Vatican for being hypocrites at one point. She married it. She, married or had babies into the Bob Marley bloodline, so that's epic as well too. And she got in trouble for them taxes. I think they sent her to jail or prison for a minute for taxes, right? Income taxes, maybe allegedly. My thing is this: is that even with that, we should appreciate what she contributed to the culture in terms of her music and her advocacy. That should be appreciated. Now, she also should appreciate her fans as well and respect their time. And I understand she got a thing. I'm an artist that I remember I saw Erica Badu at the Orpheum back in maybe 2010. She had Janelle Monae and Mono Neon, bass guitar extraordinaire from Memphis. They opened up for her. And Erica did not disappoint. She did her thing. She came out there, did the things. She did us a little sample of some of her best hits and stuff. And it was that. And everybody had a great time. Shout out to my sister, Mo Cindy, for the ticket. We went together. But my thing is this: Erica understands how she got to where she got. She understands, she values her audience, her fans. She's active on social media. She engages. She's funny. She's challenging. She's creative. She's brilliant. She's like a social butterfly. And I'm sure she went through her trials and tribulations like anybody walking the planet. But Lauren is a different breed. It's kind of like, I look at Lauryn Hill kind of like a Miles Davis. Difficult, but necessary. She's difficult, but necessary. That's how I look at Lauryn Hill. because to me, she's the closest person to Nina Simone right now. Now, y'all should check out a documentary that came out not too long ago about Nina Simone. Brilliant artist, visionary, but very troubled because of what she had to come up against. You know, she was close to Malcolm's family. Um, Matter of fact, her birthday is the anniversary of Malcolm's death. I believe she was born February 21st. Let me check this out. Uh, let's see. Yeah, she was born February 21st. She was close to Malcolm's family. February 21st was also the death date of Malcolm. He died. He got killed February 21st, 1965, in front of his family. She was born February 21st, 1933, and she was close to Malcolm. And like also, I think she was neighbors with Malcolm's folks. And also, I like to say with Maya Angelou, Dr. Maya Angelou, she was born April 4th. That's the death day of Dr. King, who got killed April 4th, 1968. And she was close to Dr. King. So that's interesting how that worked. But Nina, you know, she had Black American Native on her back. She rode for us. She rode for Black American Natives. And she paid a price for that. And she had to suffer for that. But the art remains. The beautiful art remains. She made a mark. And that's how I feel like Lauryn, she took on the world for Black expression to be unfiltered and free. And she paid a price for it. So with that said, the fact that she could perform at all, let alone at a high level, is a blessing, is a miracle for us. So we couldn't appreciate, you know, and I would also say perhaps maybe like somebody suggested in one of these comments on these videos that why don't she just set up a pay-per-view OnlyFans or something like that where she could stream her music or art and people could just pay to look at it online. And it's because she got the world in her hands. Because Lauryn does have a mystique about her. It's kind of like I said, it's like a Miles Davis thing where, okay, I could put it with Miles. He got a certain type of attitude towards people. Like he don't want to play. He want to turn around his back to the audience. And he said the reason why he did that was because he could hear his musicians better for better interplay. And some spots on the stage is kind of dead. And he might have a point to that. But I mean, thing is, yeah, this time it wasn't her fault being late. That's the thing. It wasn't her fault being late this time. And she just, you know, she does what she does. I just think it's like D'Angelo, man. It's like whatever they give us is enough. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever they want to give us, I'm good with it. It's a blessing. So yeah, I see it like that. So what y'all say? Okay, I'm glad I got some NO natives in here. Let me see. As an NO native, Essence fell out a few years ago. It's more like a DNC event filled with ads from AT&T, Coca-Cola, and Target that centers Africans. Yeah, because people don't see the thing about the Essence thing. Even you think about, you know, New Orleans is interesting because Marcus Mosiah Garvey, arguably the greatest mass leader of Black people, at least in the 20th century, if not of all time, was from Jamaica, but he felt at home in New Orleans. His biggest support came from Black people in New Orleans, and just in New Orleans, but also in Louisiana. His strongest support came from Black American natives in Louisiana, and he was sent home to Jamaica from New Orleans. But it was Black American natives that made Marcus Garvey. And these corporations like Coca-Cola and AT&T and Target tend to not recognize the power of the Black American native consumer dollar. But they do, but our people sell us out like the Black National Convention, like the Baptist National Convention, whatever. They took that $300,000. Can y'all hear me? I think y'all can hear me. Let me see. Uh, I think y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? They took that bribe from Target to sell out their people. Y'all was several million followers. Let me see. I'll say it right. Not black, but Baptist convention. It's Baptist National. Let me see. Baptist. Yeah, National Baptist Convention. Okay, yeah. They sold us out, man. This probably our religious, our moral leaders sold us out for 300,000, right? Was it 300,000? Yeah, 300,000 National Baptist Convention. They took as a bribe, I would say. Hello? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Hello, hello. Yeah. They took it as a bribe. They sold black people out. That's your leadership. But then you got to understand some people in the black clergy showed out Dr. King as well. You know what I'm saying? He had a lot of haters in his own, fraternal order of black clergymen, whatever. Dr. King told us in his last speech in Memphis on April 3rd, 1968, we should boycott Coca-Cola, Wonder Bread, Hearts Bread, any place that would take our black dollars but don't give us black jobs or support black interests. We should boycott. We should invest in black insurance companies and banks. So it doesn't surprise me that Coca-Cola and all them want to center on our replacements. A lot of these Africans and Caribbeans and stuff, they come over here, they don't respect black American natives. They've been programmed not to respect us. I remember when the lynching memorial opened up down in Montgomery. I was there the opening weekend. It was amazing to walk through there to meditate on the ancestors' loss. And it was a brother that was a Ghanaian American. His folks were from Ghana, Africa. I guess you call him Ghanaian American. He was a medical student. He thought it was so important to be there for that opening weekend that he rescheduled an important medical exam that he was taking to Oklahoma and drove down to Alabama. And we had an amazing talk. I wish I had recorded it. But he talked about how he had to tell his parents, who were immigrants from Ghana, to stop disrespecting black American natives because these people had no choice. Y'all volunteered to come to this country with resources. You still had your mother tongue. These folks were forced into this situation. Well, their knowledge of self was stolen and they still fighting, they still here. So I think it's weird that people look down on black American natives, but this country would not be anything without our contributions as far as the culture, economics, and everything, military, all that stuff. This country would not exist without our contributions. But these people come into this country and look down on us. Then they want us to ally with them. And they're not allies for us. They're quiet, silent, making moves, making money. Like I said, a sister tried to start a newspaper, could not get a loan from a bank she did business with for decades, but yet it wouldn't surprise me if that same bank gave immigrants, legal and illegal, loans, chances of getting the so-called American dream, which has been what do you call that, denied to so many of us black American natives and our loved ones and ancestors for generations. But 400 years is up, so it's time for Jubilee, and I hope a lot of us wake up to the fact that it's time for us to get what we're supposed to get. And America will never be correct and never be right and never be fully blessed until black American natives are acknowledged for our contributions as well as compensated for our sacrifices to make this country what it is. Even President Trump knows that this country would not exist without us. His people ain't been over here. They wasn't on the Mayflower. His mama's not even from this country. His wife is not from this country. Yet they was able to come over here and just, devour the American dream on their terms. So my thing is that we got to stop apologizing. But the problem is, like what I said about the religion piece, is that a lot of young people are getting turned off and tuned out from the religion. You go to a lot of these churches, it's mostly older people in the church. It's not a lot of young people. I know a church that they had to close down. It's been open for over 100 years. They had to close down because they didn't have no more young members. All their members literally died out. All their members literally died out, and so they had to close down. because they couldn't get young people to come. So what they tell you about the situation we in, like, you look at as more of us become aware of who we are and where we come from, it's gonna be less tolerance for things as so-called business as usual. That's why I see happening right now. So somebody said they don't allow TV cameras in federal court. So like that's just high crimes and misdemeanors to me. Like, you're not able to see how your government work at the highest levels. It's like the Supreme Court. They keep it hush hush. Get with the times now. Let the cameras, let the social media, let us see and let us judge for ourselves. Stop all this business behind closed doors. Make everything transparent. That's what I'm at. Because we're living in a culture now that people are always oversharing anyway. Overshare how the process in the government works. Show us in real time and all that good stuff, right? That's what I would say. And thank y'all for tuning out to tune in to get in where you fit in. I hope all y'all doing well and blessed out there. Is there anything else y'all want? Yeah, we have some connectivity issues, but I think for the most part, I think we will wrap it up a little bit. But there's a lot to ponder. Like I actually went to sound and it was fascinating. I'm gonna share with that. I'm gonna do a show about the Selma experience. Shout out to Stanley Cam Mackenzie Campbell, House of Mackenzie out of Memphis, Tennessee. Did a phenomenal job of honoring civil rights foot soldiers in Selma as well as across the country. Had some amazing dialogue with some outstanding individuals. And I want to talk about that. But it was interest going on in Selma because I don't know, we stuck in time or whatever. Y'all know about Bloody Sunday, Edmund Pettus Bridge, state troopers were on horseback, beating black folks down with batons. They didn't care if you was a man, woman, or child. You got a beat down. And so, like this year will mark the 60th anniversary of Bloody Sunday on that bridge. And also you think about the death of Jimmy Lee Jackson, the church deacon who was defending his mom and grandfather against a racist, rabid state trooper by the name of James Bernard Fowler. He lost his life to that, cop. He was only in his 20s. So I think about Jimmy Lee Jackson. Baba Dick Gregory talk about how his death led to the Voting Rights Act getting passed. See, somebody got to die. Sacrifices are necessary. My thing is, if I look at Selma or any place today, was it worth the sacrifices that our ancestors and our elders made? Because, are we really progressing at this point? Are we going backwards? And that's something that I really think about on a daily basis as it relates to this. How we move in. Do we overstand or understand where we at in this moment in time? But also, I want to close out with this because I talked a little bit. I think I talked enough about the Diddy thing. And also, they need to get rid of the Mann Act. They got to go, man. They got to go. But I want to talk about, it was that old saying, the world's a stage. Well, I think the world's a WWE. It's World Wrestling Entertainment. I look at Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Yeah, I actually think they fell out. I don't think they fell out. I think they're playing a game that many of us don't really understand. It's a new age chess game they're playing. Where I saw that Elon Musk said he wanted to start a third party. Here's the thing. Donald Trump already started the third party. It's called MAGA. MAGA is like a parasite on a barnacle on a whale. Like the whale is the Republican Party, the elephant, whatever. And, what Donald Trump did was brilliant. Because people say, why don't you start a third party? He said, no, I want to be Republican. He co-opted the Republican Party with his MAGA philosophy. So he used the resources of the Republican Party to start his own party, the MAGA movement, right? Hello? Hello? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? I think y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? All right. So he used the Republican Party for the resources for his MAGA movement. So in essence, Donald Trump actually has a third party. That's genius. He actually does have a third party. All right, thank you. Thank you for he actually has a third party. And it won't surprise me one day that the MAGA party will, get out of the Republican Party and be recognized as an official third party. Now, Elon Musk want to start something, but he's trying to save face and save his money, save his fortune. My thing about the Doge thing, Elon Musk, SpaceX, and the stuff he does with Tesla, they some of the biggest recipients of corporate welfare from the government. See, I'm talking about, people want to make an enemy of the individual EBT card holder or whatever, benefit Section 8 people. The real welfare is at the corporate level. Because corporations really supposed to be a limited enterprise. According to Adam Smith, Wealth of Nations, you form corporations to solve a problem. And I'm paraphrasing. And once you solve that problem, you dissolve the corporation. Right. So but now these corporations want to live on forever, ever. They want to have health insurance that's better than real human beings health insurance. So Elon benefited from them big government checks, them grants and whatever he don't have to pay back. And they are squeezing people hard right now. SBA loans and PPP, whatever. But really, these corporations can't employ everybody. Fred Smith, his FedEx, they employed a lot of people in the Memphis area, and they did a lot of good. But they can't, they can't employ everybody in Memphis that want a job. You still need small businesses to thrive, but they don't want small businesses to thrive. They want these small business ventures a lot of times be replaced by AI. See the AI movement, and it started in Memphis. People don't understand the power of Memphis. People keep on talking about crime. It's not about crime. The biggest crime is the undereducation of the population of Memphis and not knowing their value and worth and knowledge of self. That's the biggest crime going. But the biggest crime is wealth theft. You got, corporations, LLCs moving in, grabbing all the land. People can't buy their first homes and start a life here in Memphis. They're making the cost of living go up because of that. You got all these tech companies and stuff like moving into Memphis, doing some shady stuff from my understanding, and not allowing the people to see the transparent process of what's going down. They're making decisions that affects a whole lot of people, but a whole lot of people are not able to give an input before decisions are made. Not saying that you always got to agree with the crowd. I'm saying people should be aware, because these things not only affect the bottom line, but it affects the health of generations of folk. Environmental racism is very real. So there's a lot of environmental racism in a majority black place like Memphis. That's a given. Just research it. And we got state rep Justin Pearson doing what he does with his family, the Pearson family. They're very strong advocates of environmental activists. And people might not agree with their methodology or their philosophy, but we need all types of voices to be heard. And we need to create, like what they say, heighten the contradictions, as an old Black Panther party would say, heighten the contradictions to order to cause cognitive dissonance, to raise awareness. That's very important. But like with Trump and them, Trump is very intelligent. They try to say he's stupid and all this stuff. The media is stupid to me because they think that everybody's gonna go in based on emotion. They want people to be very emotional about what's going on right now. Because if they was about logic, they would keep a lot of their opinions. The media should just report facts and figures and data, and let the average person come up with what they think about it. But they should make it easy for the average person to understand. Like, they should present news in a way that person with an 8th grade education can understand. And when they do that, don't belittle people's intelligence, but rather talk about the facts and figures of a case or situation versus always the opinionated commentator type mode. Leave that to the social media people like me. Just give us the facts and let us interpret how we're going to interpret. And that's the thing I like, and it's very fascinating, man. And so people don't get me, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. Dick Gregory said, once you put the magic glasses on, once the universe, so God give you the magic glasses, you can't force anybody to see what you see. You just got to go with the flow, man. And with that said, I want to thank you all for tuning out, to tune in and get in where you fit in. Like the words from Brother Herb, please spread the word. Go to We All BTV too on YouTube, and on rumble.com is We All BTV. All one word, all together, one love. I hope y'all keep on producing and pushing. And people always ask me, Brother Ron, how can we support what you're doing? Well, by listening and sharing, like I said, with your friends. Also can cash out your support, $ R2C2H2. You can PayPal and Zelle your support. Our email is r2c2h2@gmail.com. That's r2c2h2@gmail.com. Apple Cash, your support. Number 901-299-4355. That's number 901-299-4355 for Apple Cash support. Vimo your support at R2C2H2. That's R2C2H2. At R2C2H2 for Vimo. Sign up for Patreon. We're about to be real serious on the Patreon thing, y'all. Because there's going to be certain videos that I'm going to make available on there that YouTube don't want available on here. And I might go to Rumble, but a lot of videos that were taken down, start uploading to Patreon for our members so they can get access to it. It's been a long time coming. But I just want to thank y'all for being patient with me for a lot of things. Because I know I just been out and about, not always, available, I guess, like I should be. But God knows my heart, and y'all know my spirit, and it does me good to be out here with you all, representing the way we represent. And I'm trying to find that y'all got anything in the comment section y'all want me to talk about before I get out of here. Let me know, man. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Now, if you want anything you want me to talk about, I'm just looking through some stuff. See if I can have. hmm Okay, it's good. God is good. Okay, I thought I had something, but anyway. Hmm. Yep. We all be in it to win it. So that's our outro. So thank y'all so much for another wonderful, infiltrating, agitating edition of We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. I'm your host with the mostest, Brother Ron. Know the words of Great Skeleton. We love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing in the words of the Brother Ron. Look for me in the whirlwind, and I'll do the same for y'all. One love.